Okay, so what was your question?
When a child is born, at a point of time, the I is triggered, the consciousness is triggered in it.
Yeah.
And it keeps on developing, it seems so. Does that size of the I, has it anything to make to the developments of his Swabhavana Nirmoksha, the
Yes,
bhavas?
That swa is the content of the human entity.
Okay.
What I call the original engines of the entity.
Okay.
Its engines of the mind is there,
Okay.
its engines of the intellect is there, then its spirit is there.
Okay.
And of course intelligence also is there. Then the body. All these 5 dimensions are capable of immense development, immense evolution, because they have such potentialities.
Okay.
For example, the body potentiality to dance. So dancing is a possible, probable bhava for a particular body of a given child.
Okay.
That is the bhava of the swa of the child to be given nirmoksha, to be expressed, to be manifested, to be revealed out.
Okay.
That job has to be undertaken by that developing I,
Okay.
that part of the consciousness,
Okay.
that part of what we can say, that will part of that consciousness.
Okay.
The I or the self or the ego, whatever we name it, which is right now controlling your listening to whatever I am telling,
Okay.
which you have decided to listen to by applying your will to sit there,
Okay.
because someone else may not have the will to sit there patiently and listen to this, even if he or she is interested. Now you can differentiate between the will, the I, and the potentiality. You have the potentiality of your intellect to receive this language
Okay.
and understand the originals of that language,
Okay. Yeah.
and you are sitting there. So that will has to be applied to duplicate the original capacity possible for the entity. I am using the word duplication there also, because the body is capable of singing or dancing or listening to the tunes produced by a musical instrument and modulate his pressing of the keys accordingly. Okay, so that is the original possibility or potentiality contained in the swa of that particular human being, because of various reasons, because of what I call the eugenics factors, because of the individual differences possible for human beings, because they are born in different time locations of the configurations of the energy fields in the environment. Like you have equal seeds of a particular tree, equal quality seeds of a particular tree, and you distribute it in various locations of the earth. Depending upon the place where it has fallen, it will evolve.
Okay.
So that is a rough example of the variation in the timing of birth of the human entities. Actually, I am coupling different variants, different linkages to the topic, to explain that why the swa of every human being does not have the potentiality to sing or to enjoy higher order ideas. Let us say you have that tendency to enjoy higher order ideas. You feel certain pressure, you feel certain happiness You feel certain goodness about you that you are able to enjoy this. Like some other person feels good about watching a TV show or a film. So with that you are sitting there. So the swa has that tendency originally that tendency is to be duplicated into your manifest level. Why you say duplication is that original is there. That has to be little by little extracted. Like the modern scientific logic things, it is not that when you play the keyboard and the learning of the keyboard are continuously stacked there newly. No. In which case, most people could be trained in anything. Anything or at least some 50% of the available activities. Because learning meaning imbibing an activity into the system. Like you have a room there in your entity, and you create a new room for singing, a new room for dancing, a new room for enjoying higher order ideas, a new room for playing keyboard or violin or tabla, and so on and so forth. Or a new room to learn mathematics, a new room to understand physics and all this. No, it is not there. It has to be there in the original swa of the entity, which you gradually duplicate with the help of an activity done in the environment, for which you need the will and the decision of the I. That is the consciousness which you are talking about. When a child is born, its attention is capturing its own body sensations. Attention is automatically get connected to its body sensations, and that attention is spread all over the body. Therefore, let us say its vocal system makes a sound. That's all it can do. As a response potential available in its entity. That is why the cry sound itself is a measure of the health of the body. If the health of the body was 10, it will make a sound 10. If the health of the body is 5, it cannot make a sound 10. That is the first swabhava nirmoksha of the child, of the body level. Then it interacts with, then it is not, it interacts with, then the environment is continuously interacting with that body. The mother figure can interact only with the body in the beginning. Because mother figure cannot talk to that. Of course, mothers talk also. Alright? And mother figure with all her energy field, being inspired by the presence of a new child coming out of its own body, has the maximum energy field of focusing with whatever the name was, love or affection or thrill or wonder or whatever it is. With that energy field, the mother body is sort of treating or shaping the formation of the I in the child. I in the child meaning that aspect which can receive the data, sense data, feeling data and respond back. It is not that the child is so-called consciously the way we adults understand consciously, understanding reaction of the mother and responding to that. No. That is the beauty of the very mind contained in the child. Mind is the first engine provided to the human entity. The mind is generated in the child even during the embryonic times, by about the age of 5 months or 6 months inside the womb. That is a necessary engine, because if that mind is not there, there is nothing in the body to collect the signal and make a response. Let us say the body of the child, newborn infant is feeling, let us say, a temperature difference, a texture difference, and a signal difference into the eyes. Okay, the eyes received the signals, the body received the touch signals. Okay, So what? There should be an agent inside that which is sensing the signals and do something about that signal. That is a survival requirement for the entity. Like the hand movements are given to grab something later, this engine of the mind is given as an inherent condition to the organism to take care of such responses and behaviors and actions for its survival. If the child does not cry, not initially, forget about that. And the next day or the third day, the child does not cry, the mother cannot know whether the child is to be fed or not. When the child is showing the crying, the mother interprets that it needs food. So that is the beginning expression of the mind. And in that expression of the mind, and it's receiving the food, there is a realization of the mind that yes, this is the way. Something like that. So subsequently, whenever it feels hunger, it cries. Whenever it feels a disturbance in the body, it cries. That is the first language of the child. And that first language is produced by that part of its mind which is able to sense the body, which has already sensed the linkage that if it makes such a sound, you get this. Okay, that is the beginning of the ego or the mind or the I, the so-called I, whatever we name as I. That coordinating agent inside that, which receives signals, once again to repeat, which is sensing signals and taking an action on behalf of that signals. In the beginning, the child takes an action only when signals are affecting its survival condition. Let us say hunger, or severe body disturbance, or temperature difference, or something like that. Then gradually over the time, the body develops and its sounding system develops automatically. Then the sounding system is so powerful in the human being, so elaborate in the human being, unlike a cat or a bird. It can control its sounding process by its own power, by its own automatic swabhava nirmoksha. In other words, if the child does not talk, nobody can make it talk. If the child cannot repeat its sounds, which in psychology we use the word babbling, that continuous sounding, that's the beginning of the possibility of talking. Because what is talking? You repeat words. It is a continuity of sound. Every word requires a continuity of sounding. Every word is a unit of sound continuity, which the child's swa is capable of, or which the child's original engines are capable of. Using that potential, the child is duplicating. That is a Tamil sound structures, or English sound structures, or Malayalam sound structures, or French sound structures, according to what it could hear. And that through hundreds of repetitions. Yes, if the child is deaf, even though its sounding is capable, it cannot talk because it cannot hear. So once language starts, then you name the child and you constantly use that name to address this child. Then it realizes, oh, this word is about this, whatever is me. It doesn't have that language to think like that. But even a dog is able to realize, oh, this is its so-called name. Even birds can realize, oh, this particular sound is about the possibility of reaching there and getting food, if you languageify their activity. So that becomes gradually developed. Once the language is developed, okay, plenty of languages are learned by the child vis-a-vis meaning. All initial languages will be inevitably related to visible physical objects. The child will understand, this is my mother. Child will not say, understand my mother is beautiful.
Yeah.
Because the concept of beautiful will take a lot of time. The child will realize that this is an apple, gradually you tell them this is red. Okay. Similarly, all initial words are related to visible, obvious physical entities. Then the freewheelingness of the mind. Mind has the quality of freewheelingness. Unlike the possible, probable mind in the cats or the birds, which are sort of fixed programs. So the freewheeling mindness is provided in the very structure of the central nervous system, the brain. Because the neurons of the brain are not directly wired. Unlike the neurons of a bird or a cat. The neurons of the birds are directly connected. Whereas the neurons in the brain of the human being, it is like you just put in a sack a lot of rice granules. Without connecting each other. They are all touching each other. That's all. For example, one neuron in the human brain may be connecting to some 100 neurons or 1000 neurons. There are certain neurons in the brain which are identified by a scientist called Purkinje. Those cells connect with 75,000 neurons. Up to 75,000 neurons. Connecting means what? It just sends its nerve fibers and just touch at the tip of the nerve fibers of the other neurons. If it is connected, it can connect only to that neuron. You get the point. Because it is not connected, let's say that the neuron A is not connected to B or C or D or BCD.
Okay.
Because it is not connected to B or C or D, it may get connected to B, it may get connected to C, it may connected to get D, it may get connected to any other neurons. That's what I call freewheeling mind. Nobody knows with what it may get connected. That makes the foundation of individual differences also. Even if identical twins, born out of the same fertilized egg, the only difference between them is which one appeared first into the terrain, which mind got triggered first, that's all. But even they develop differences because of this freewheeling tendency. So this I becomes gradually over interaction because every entity around is interacting with to that single developing child, and it also has to make a response to that. It has to register so many responses. It has duplicated so many possible, probable responses and behaviors and actions it observed in the environment, and it chooses one out of that according to the data received. That way the I becomes civilized. Is this an answer to your question?
Yeah.
And that I is a kind of a field of attention.
Okay.
Entire the primary reality or the primary condition or the primary brick, if you use the word, by which the building of the universe is constructed. The primary brick by which the building of a human entity is constructed. Brick is of course a physical thing. Is that energy of attention. Rather than the field of attention. Like the signal field of your mobile particular service provider is available everywhere. That's why you can take the phone anywhere. Everywhere that mobile field is available. Similarly, that attention field is available everywhere in the universe, if you use the word attention. When the universe has its attention field only. Or a field which we can name as attention. For example, a plant kept in a corner of the room, it grows towards the sunlight. Because of that, that corresponding, that's a word we can use. Its quality is attention at the human level. At the human level, a child is standing there, then suddenly a rose flower appears in its front, its attention captures it. It is like if the human attention of the child is like a mobile phone, the movement of that rose flower is the signal which it captures. Any children around that environment, all of them can see that rose flower. So that rose flower falls into the attention field, let us say so. Like in the umpteen number of whatever digital signal waves, a particular wave signal which has what you call configuration of your number, or the swabhava of the number of your mobile gets triggered. That particular configuration of signal is available everywhere in that field, along with millions of other numbers. So that is more or less a very good comparison of the attention field. So your attention field, rather your particular mobile number configuration, can tap with that field configuration whenever it happens. And appearance of that signal, because somebody dialed your number, which is instantly available in all places of signal, is captured by your attention. In case of a mobile signal, if you take it to the other way around, your attention field can capture any mobile number which you are interested in at the human level. Out of the n number of things here, your attention can right now capture the camera being recorded here, or the table number above that. All these signals are available. Your attention can also linkage with the feeling of the body sitting in the chair, in the external world. At the same time, if there is a word, if I use the word Philadelphia or Darwin, where you did your MBA program in innovation management, just I use the word Darwin, your attention can capture an instant photograph of that Darwin. And if you want to continue attention, if your will wants to continue attention maintained in Darwin, you can go to every street of Darwin which you have been through. In all that, there is a slight time difference, because your attention is seeing the image of Darwin. How is it possible if the image of Darwin is the same as your attention? So your attention is standing a nanosecond apart from that image of Darwin available in your so-called retention stack. Your attention has to be necessarily away from that. Your attention has to be inevitably different from what it sees. Then only your attention can see that. Otherwise you cannot see Darwin. Or you cannot notice, your attention field cannot tap anything unless it is separately existing somewhere. And as a question you asked some time back, what was that question?
The Swabha about that one, or the I part?
No. You asked a question yesterday whether the attention field, or whether we are locating attention and whether enlightenment are the same.
Yeah.
What was that question?
Whether developing attention, developing the neurons of attention, linkaging the neurons of attention, is that and enlightenment the same?
Yeah. You have this question. Repeat it.
Okay.
You have this question, okay?
Okay.
It's actually a very unusual question.
Okay.
I did not connect with attention and enlightenment thus far,
Okay.
though we discussed both of it.
Okay.
Right now, I want you to recognize the fact that, or recognize the possibility that you had that question because you have an intuition of the tip of the iceberg of that answer.
Okay.
You already have a suspicion
Okay.
about some possibility, which I don't want to say.
Okay.
You are expecting an answer of an yes or no
Yeah.
from me, right? Because you have already got an intuitive feeling of a possible connection with getting what?
Getting the neurons of attention.
Or getting
yeah.
attention, getting tuning with attention, and getting tuning with enlightenment are the same.
Yeah.
That's what you asked,
Yeah.
right? Or are you asking me that whether attention?
Because you said that the birds. Now I am referring to the context of what we discussed now. You said the bird's brain is a linkaged brain,
Yeah.
completely linkaged, and it's a programmed brain, and it must be completely linkaged. If, for say, if it has a small brain that has only 1 million cells,
Yeah.
assume, and if a brain of a human entity has about 1 billion,
50 billion.
okay, 50 billion of it, but its attention, the number of neurons linkaged or its attention part is less than 1 million. Okay, assume, means it's not that connected, the attention part is not well connected.
No. I said the neurons of the brain of the bird are linkaged, connected.
Okay.
And the neurons of the brain of the human organism are not connected.
Okay, yeah.
Therefore, it is free to connect with any other neurons. Whereas in the bird's brain, neuron A is connected to neuron B and only to neuron B.
Oh, okay.
It cannot connect with X, neuron X. That's why it is called a program. That's why every bird is equally competent to build a nest. That's why every cat is equally competent. There is no incompetent cat or a most competent cat. That's why cats and birds have been the same ever since. It will continue to be the same ever since, ever later also. Whereas human beings, the primitive human beings, more or less with the same brain, what did they do? And now with the same brain, what do modern people do? Okay. That is because of that freewheeling.
Okay.
The freewheeling mind and the freewheeling or free floating intellect can together contract impossible variations of activities and perceptions and perspectives and feelings and experiences, or rather attention, focuses. But you had a major point when you talked about that. You said when the neurons of the brain of the bird are interconnected, the same is interconnected directly with the signal fields of the universe, the world around also.
Oh, okay.
Therefore, the ant knows where exactly the location of the sugar is. The butterflies which you saw here, it just knows, it has no doubt. It just goes around the tree and goes straight on that flower. The bird knows which precise kind of twigs are to be selected and in which way it has to be placed on a moving branch of a tree so that it can sustain for long, so that it can sustain the eggs, so that it can even sustain the fluttering movement of the newborn birds. You don't see a fallen nest. So much impeccable engineering the bird is capable of, because the neurons are wired. That means when the neurons are wired means it knows exactly sort of what to do. Because that neurons are wired, we can we can definitely assume by evidence of its activity that they are similarly directly wired by signals with the environmental variations. In fact, that has been proved by a great entomologist called, two of them, Lawrence and Tinbergen. They identified which precise climate signals work on a particular bird called weaver bird, and then it goes around collecting certain thread-like structures and create the most marvelous engineering structure possible. That hanging, what you call, nest. So, at the same time, the human neurons are not interconnected. That means human beings are not directly linked with the forces of the universe. That also means that a human being can anytime connect with the force of the universe also. Like you can connect with operating a piano or a violin or a tabla or with a knowledge field which was not originally there. You can connect with any forces of the universe too, with a little bit of individual variations. Like everybody cannot play violin, whatsoever he may try, to the level of another human being who has that eugenics, that by birth inclination to that. Similarly, even when you get tuning of your attention field with the attention field contents of the universe, you may not get connected to all possible phone numbers of the universe fields. But you will definitely connect with some certain types of phone numbers. That's why you need a different path of enlightenment, unlike somebody else's proven path of enlightenment. Of course, that person cannot describe what his path was. He cannot describe what he did do either. Nothing very surprising, because you cannot even explain what did you do to get balance on the bicycle. Even when bicycle is such an obvious physical object and your trainee also is holding a bicycle. The bicycle of your mind, your intellect, your spirit especially, is infinitely more subtle and intangible, and equally infinitely powerful, in the sense that the number of connectivity is possible, or the type of connectivity is possible. Like what the Patanjali said, you can even know the language of the birds, you can communicate with the trees, you can enter into another plane of existence, you can disappear at will and come back at will. All these possibilities of the human's body, human entity, which is a possibility of the human entity not because it's a gift by your father or mother. No human child is created by a particular father or mother. It is a creation 100% of the nature process, but it happens through another two human beings, that's all. So, that master engine is your engine of attention. And coming back to engaging the question, your question. So that attention is the number one and perhaps the only thing, or only engine, or only tool, or only device, or only linkage that will connect with whatever you name enlightenment, or a better word is satori, that quick connecting or quickly seeing all of it. Because of the intelligence of the human being, you have learned a lot of language, you have a dress, you have a house, all these details which you see, countless details from a pen and pencil to dress and electronic to nanotechnology developed by human beings over so many centuries of time, which were never existing, at least at the primitive time, are all the works of attention only. Removing all these things, or removing your knowledge about all these things, so that your attention is that much detached, because your original attention is not concerned about operating mobile phones and pressing laptop and driving motor cars and piloting aircrafts. Even when you do all those things, only your creature is working anyway. You don't have a new muscle to pilot an aircraft or a new muscle to press the mobile phone. You don't have a new eye to see a computer game. It is all variations of data processing possible in the body. One of that variations is not a particular, a physical arrangement in the body. Like the same screen is showing so many film stars and movements on it. The screen is the same. Similarly, the attention is the same, primarily. Or the field of consciousness is primarily the same. But it can show variations, which the attention can notice. And attention is the same. That attention is primarily in every cell of the body. So, when you talk about attention and enlightenment, you are in a way, your suspicion is correct. So go by that suspicion. Because when there is a no, it is closed. You have already some linkages about the possibilities of yes. Because you had that possibilities of yes originated in you, you had that question. As I told you, all creations are the consequence of a question first. Like Newton asked, why things fall? Like you asked, what is the linkage between attention and enlightenment? You felt a connection. That is not your creation. So whatever that triggered that question in you, that is the lack of that freewheeling mind. Because you are able to detach from your existent knowings and your mind is free. Therefore, in that freewheeling rotation of the mind, it got to these two connections. That is the original requirement of a genuine seeker. So that he is free. When the mind is free, it will generate its own unique questions. Otherwise, it will be planned questions or duplicated questions or thought-generated questions, none of which is of any consequence. Because you cannot create a question about the things which you do not know. Right? You can only intuitively get a question about the unknown, which will be provided to you by the very unknown. When you consciously ask a question, it is all a concocted question. That's why the so-called Zen masters carried a bamboo stick, bamboo staff in their hands. When a disciple asks a very so-called intelligent question, they will be given a whack on their head. That you go and ask to somebody else, don't ask me. Because the master can know which question is an original question, which question is guided by that freewheeling mind of the unknown. Because the possibility of seeing something is hiding there. Because the so-called attention, connecting with attention, there is nothing to know. Because if your cell number is connected to your own cell number, there is no difference. And when your cell number is connecting with another cell number, already there is a difference. And that cell number is not the number of enlightenment. The number of enlightenment is your own cell number.